Cheering at pro wrestling shows in Japan is back, and 2023 is already shaping up to be a big year in the history of pro res. That's why you should listen to the Emerald Flow Show. From the Royal Road to the Green Mat, Paul and Gerard take you into the world of All Japan Pro Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Noah. Not only do we analyze events, but we examine business, who is getting over, what angles are working or not. Occasionally, we take a look at other Japanese promotions like DDT and Zero One. So if you're looking for more coverage of the world of Japanese wrestling, check out the Emerald Flow Show on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network, available on all of your favorite podcast apps.
Brace yourself for something fuel nominal. Unleaded 88 is the clear fuel choice. It's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. And it's grown by Iowa corn farmers. Now that's totally worth the hype. So pump it up with Unleaded 88.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm Joel, joined by Damon McDonald. It is Wednesday the 5th of June, 2024. This is episode 313. What's up, Damon? How's it going?
Fucking awful. I just hate everything. What a chaotic start. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about that. But let's just say that my punctuality was not on point today. Let's just leave it at that.
Maybe this could be a chance for us to be professional for once and actually just start talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling instead of subjecting people to. There's been mostly 40 minutes of me complaining about Man City for the past couple of months. So even though they have done something that is worthy of complaining about, I'm not going to complain about them this week.
Okay. All right. Listen, I always look forward to the Arsenal updates. So don't feel like it's me. I look forward to it. But yeah, we can. It's just like a whirlwind today, and I had no sleep. Oh, no sleep at all. Just enough is enough. Is enough. Let's talk New Japan Pro Wrestling, shall we, Joel?
Yes, let's shall. Now, we've got a few things we can discuss today. We have the Best of the Super Juniors block finals and semi-finals we can talk about. We have the Dominion card coming up this weekend to preview. And we also have President Tanahashi's 10-point plan for the future of NJPW. So I'll let you decide whilst Grumpy is shouting very loudly in the background.
My lord.
Here, Grumpy, do you mind? How rude. I will let you decide where we go first, Damon, as I
All right.
give Grumpy a little cuddle and settle him down.
We can start, I guess, if we're going chronologically. We got to talk Super Juniors, right?
So would you like to work backwards in the Super Juniors? So would you like to start with the semi-finals and then work backwards and touch on the block finals? Or would you like to go in chronological order and do block finals as they happened and then semi-finals?
I think we go block finals because, if our last show was any indicator, someone's listening to it. It felt like
They are, confirmed listeners. Whoever's booking this show is listening.
Apparently, because it did change up quite dramatically from what it seemed like we were on a collision course with, which, not for nothing, was I dug it in the sense that I'm watching this show and I went into it, or these shows rather, and I went into it full of piss and vinegar, this is boring booking, and Jesus Christ, this company needs a fucking defib machine or something. I don't know. And they did a little ankle break move like they do in the NBA. And I liked it. Once again, this will fall under I love being wrong. I love taking a loss because it did make things a little bit more interesting. That's for sure.
First of all, what do you think of these Koraku and Hall numbers? So the A block finals did 1,032 people. B block finals did 1,170.
Not good news. I mean, you would hope that they would be turning people away, and I don't think that's the case for any shows, quite honestly. I don't think there's any turning away. They'll find room for you. Apparently there's plenty of it. I think there's a lot of flux when it comes to even New Japan Pro Wrestling fans in Japan, where I guess they're a little unsure. And trust me, I'm sure there was a lot of thought of, well, okay, I mean, am I going to pay to see the shit that I've seen 1,000 times? It feels like, and maybe it was them saying, hey, you know what? We're taking a look at the advanced gate, and okay, the numbers for this entire tour don't seem to be knocking anybody over. And you got wrestlers tweeting about fucking, lowering prices to fit more people in, and all kinds of people chiming in. Maybe they did take a long, hard look and say, all right, you know what? Let's book a show. And again, I don't want to sit there and say that they placated to people that are kind of lost with this company, but it sure did feel like it. Like, it did feel like they were unhappy with the ledger and looking at the profitability, and especially these shows and Dominion and all that stuff. It's like, all right, fuck it. Let's teach them a lesson that they have to show up, because anything can happen in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's really one of the feelings that I did get. So I don't know, maybe. I mean, I probably not. I mean, they probably had this mapped out long before that, and this is just me wishing that we had a voice in all this. But yeah, it was something that was, I think. Look, I don't think they were thrilled, right? And they pivoted. Whether that was in advance or whether that was on the spot, I don't know. But they pivoted, and I'm here for it.
Yes, I like yourself. I don't enjoy being correct about everything at the same time. We moan a lot about the predictable booking, and they changed things up and have done something that I find quite refreshing and exciting. So we will get onto that. Okay, what I'm having to do here is, because the English website is still down.
How is that
I'm using the
possible?
Japanese website.
How is that possible? I mean,
this is what happens when there's like one person in charge of doing everything related, everything in the English language sphere in the company. So okay, I suppose there's only so much they can do in the day. But it is absolute Mickey Mouse shit that the company should be embarrassed about. And shame.
Yeah, I mean, geez, Louise. Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. You work for a living. You're a professional, right? And you have certain tasks that you must do. If you were a person in charge of a website and or social media, and I can't imagine one person being in charge of all of everything, but like, okay, let's just pretend. Wouldn't this be top of the list? Like, wouldn't this be like number one? Fix this website? Look at this thing. Look at the white space on this fucking thing. Whew. My goodness.
Have you seen the replacement website?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
And if you go to the match card for Dominion.
Oh, God. Okay, let's go do that. Boom.
So if you go to schedule, or schedule, however you want to say it.
I like the way you say it.
And then,
okay, go ahead. I sound like a fucking...
Yeah, and then just go to Dominion.
Yeah.
Match card.
Yeah. Okay, match card. Oh, there it is. With a exclamation point. Oh, Jesus Christ. This reminds me of...
You just get one massive JPEG of like black and white.
Yeah. It just reminds me of like back in the day when I was a child, the Spectrum was Philadelphia's arena, where they had shows, like WWF would come to them. And in the sports section, they would have like a little blurb about the match results. That this is what this reminds me of. It is just text. It's just a block of text, but it's in an image, and you can't even click on it to zoom in on it. Try clicking on it. You can't. How is anybody reading this? Holy fucking shit. Do we know who's running this, who's in charge of this? The website? We don't know that person, do we? Do we?
I don't know. Just when there's anything English language, I just assume it's under Chris Charlton's domain. But I mean, who knows? I don't know.
I don't think he's in charge of the website, though. Maybe the content. Like he's not.
Okay, you're like actual maintenance of the website.
Yeah.
No, I can't imagine that he's responsible for that as well.
Right. This is people. I beg of you. I'm begging of you. You want to go to the site. You want to go to the schedule. Click on the match card. Holy fucking balls! It's worse than I imagined because I have not navigated this deep into the abyss. What a hunk of shit! I'm gonna bite this fucking person in the forehead. This person should be fired. Fired, I tell you. Holy shit! I tell you what.
So, David, what I'm doing instead is using the Japanese website and Google Translate to translate the entire page, which is coming up with some very fun little oddities. Like it keeps saying for the result of each match, it's talking about hardened shrimps. So it will say, like, for example, the first match, 7 minutes, 30 seconds, ninja bomb, and then a little arrow and shrimp hardening. And then the second match, 6 minutes, 5 seconds, Zack Driver, hardened shrimp. And it keeps talking about that single shrimp hardened. And I don't know what it means. There's one that's ring out and single shrimp hardened, hardened shrimp. There's another one, body solidification.
This is a global company. Oh, lordy low.
It could be like something, I believe it is describing the kind of pin, or the kind of cover that ended the match.
Okay.
But it was very funny for me to look at the semi-finals, and one of them ends by hardened shrimp and the other one by body solidification. That tickled me.
Body solidification, man. That's the way to go. You're not going to make it in this fucking world without a little body solidification. That's for sure. Wow. I mean, listen, we tried. Listen, we tried to be positive, people. We tried. We really did. We tried. But then Joel had to fucking bring up this website. Whoo-wee. God damn. This is. I can't even, like, what does this remind you of? Like, what does this site remind you? Know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of someone who just downloaded WordPress, maybe like 10 years ago.
So GeoCities.
Right. It's like, just like they got a template and they have not deviated from said template, the 10-year ago template. And here we are. God damn. I mean, look, how hard could it?
All right, come on, let's move on. I don't really get that interested in complaining about the website for that one. Right, so yeah, we got. I'm just going to skip straight to the block matches. So we had Yoshinobu Kanemaru defeating Clark Connors by ring out. That was a lot of fun. So Kanemaru's usual trick in these instances is to throw a young lion at his opponent as they're trying to come back in the ring, and then it will knock them over and he'll get the ring out. But Clark Connors preempted that, grabbed a young lion himself, threw it towards Kanemaru, but Kanemaru deflected, reversed it, threw the young lion back at Clark, and Clark got ringed out. What's the past tense of ring out? Ringed out? He got ringed out. He got wrung out. And that finished. That was good. It was pretty much, as I said, it would all even out at 8 points. I mean, the match between Bushi and Kevin Knight, so Bushi, or Bush, as it just says on the Japanese website, Bush won via Fable, so that evened that out. So, I mean, there's not a huge amount to say there. I suppose the more interesting stuff is going to come with the seventh match, which was TJP defeating Titan with, as it says here, Duende Flying Knee. I like that. Kata Ebi hardening. So, I said Aswang was done, not coming back. He came back. You were right. So well done to you. Yeah. Setting aside my issues, which I've complained at length about, I think it raises sort of too many plot holes for him to be bringing out this gimmick, and the commentary working very hard to try and explain it and make it fit in. But it just sort of raises the question for me: if this Uzwang is so effective, why doesn't he do it for every match? But whatever. Maybe there's sort of a cool down period where he can't use it every match, otherwise it will take over his soul. That's probably the sort of nonsense he come up with. But I have to say, it wasn't that much of an obstacle for me enjoying this match. I thought it was a very, very good match and kind of proof of concept for the pusher TJP, he's had an excellent tournament, and I think that there was better stuff to come from him as we get into the semi-finals. But he booked his place in second place in this block with a great match against Titan. And Titan, very selfless. He got his run to the final last year and is putting the hard work in this year to make everyone else look good. And really excellent match.
Yeah, it was really good. And you're right, he did have a pretty solid tournament. And again, I think a lot of people, when you looked at TJP and you were like, okay, he's going on and on about being the leader of the faction and all this, just a lot of, I don't know, stuff that people couldn't swallow, I guess. I guess really that's really what it came down to. Between that and the the morphing into an evil, crazy, monstery character, again, all right, it's pro wrestling, I get it. So there was a couple reasons why people just, over and above the fact that there is a section of people watching that just don't like him because of his outside the ring views of life in general. That being said, he still had a great fucking tournament. You can't take that away from the dude. You can't. And I really enjoyed the match with Teton. It didn't bother me at all, quite frankly. I did giggle that it was there, that it reared its ugly head. But it didn't. I didn't hate it. I don't know. Maybe I was just, you caught me in a good mood and a good place. I didn't hate it. And to me, he's a guy that, look, if we're talking about making new stars, it's not like he's 20. Let's be clear about that too. He's shockingly older than people would think. But correct me if I'm wrong. He's like late 30s, right? Am I off base with that?
Yeah, he's 39.
Okay, there you go. So, he's not.
It's about time you kick the tires, and we all know that he's a really, really good wrestler and did a lot of tremendous work to lift the junior tag division. And to be honest, we have to hand it to him. Deserves his chance to do some single stuff. Now, the way that he's doing it and the extent to which he does it, transcending weight classes and stuff, may not be to my taste. But at the end of the day, when the bell rings, this guy fucking delivers. So I've got to hand it to him.
And they're giving a guy an opportunity. I can't shit on that. All those things that we just said, those are all reasons why he should get this opportunity. So yeah, I had no problem with that. No, none at all. And I thought the match was fine. And to me, he was a highlight of the entire tournament. So yeah, let's do it.
Then we had Kosei Fujita spoiling Blake Christian in 10 minutes 43 seconds with Abandoned Hope. Again, I don't know if this is the actual name of his move or this is a wacky translation, but I'm going to run with it because it's adding a sense of fun and unpredictability that led to a single shrimp hardened. So, yeah, I think a lot of us predicted this, that Fujita would be spoiling Blake Christian. I don't think any of us reasonably expected Blake Christian to be going to the semi-finals. But again, I'm just repeating what I said before. I think Blake Christian has actually been pretty good. I'm not subscribing to the hive mind that's saying he was shit and one of the worst Best of Super Junior guys ever. No. I thought it was perfectly serviceable. And Fujita, I would have liked more from him than 6 points. But, for a first outing, 6 points isn't terrible by New Japan conservative booking standards. And it looks like there's going to be some stuff for him in the near future with junior tag challenges. So I think I just have to be more patient with Fujita because time is on his side. It was a pretty impressive first outing. We look back on the early matches he had with Desperado in particular. Really, really tremendous stuff. So Fujita, he's not going anywhere. I think he's a guy you're really going to be building the division around for years to come, even if it's not going to be as quick as I would like.
Yeah. I don't know. This look, I'm very happy that he got the win. Not shocked of the fact that Blake, he's Balake, as I like to call him. It wasn't going on past this, right? We were all pretty confident in that. I don't think nobody was betting on the upset there. Once again, not as like if you would read and see and hear other opinions of just like they just vilified this poor guy, and it's like really the vast majority of it was just unwanted. It was just like, I don't know, like how. I get it. He's not your cup of tea, but
racism against ginger people.
Is that what it is? Is that what it is? All right, let's call it what it is. Let's just fucking do it. It's I think it was unjustified. Unjustified. Now, let me ask you this. And you can go back, I'll say 4 years, Joel. 4 long years. You can pick any block, any wrestler in any block. Given that you're going to create your dream lineup next year, is Balake in your dream lineup?
No, I think he's just one of these white guys that can sort of parachute in and out of tournaments. Correct. He's like your Ace Austin or your Mike Bailey, or your Flip Gordon. They're in there for 1 year, something different, add a bit of colour, bit of flavour, and never seen them again.
Right. And I mean, I don't know for sure. Trust me, I don't. But I would think they probably got him on the cheap. You know what I mean? They probably didn't spend a ton of money to bring him in. And when you get the offer, if you're Blake, you're fucking saying, sure, I'll take that trip. Why not? Fuck yeah, let's do it. So look, it was a cost-effective, good role-playing role that he had. You know what I mean? Like you knew he wasn't going to fucking win it. There was no shot that was happening. But again, he gave you a little bit of surprises when he did win. And again, that's when it felt like the negativity started rolling in. But come on, we all knew where this was going to end up. He was serviceable. He did well. Get off the fucking guy's back.
And main event was El Desperado beating Hayata, who has been translated on the website as To Life.
Oh.
I like that. To Life. It's like someone making a toast. Yeah. To Life. 20 minutes, 23 seconds by Pinche Loco with a hardened shrimp pinning technique there. And this is very good. Hayata, I think he's like what people unfairly accuse Taiji Ishimori of being. So he will just absolutely dog it when he's not in the mood, when he feels like he doesn't have to, but when the tap on the shoulder comes, he can go. So it was nice to see, both ends of the Hayata spectrum, from completely forgettable to, wow, this guy's actually pretty good. So I enjoyed this match, and on the whole, I've enjoyed Hayata's contributions to Best of the Super Juniors. Didn't dislike it as much as people led me to believe I would. But again, not a guy that I would be clamoring to be invited back next time, but it's good to see the companies collaborating like this.
Yeah, I'm with you. And here's the thing too, I was kind of thinking back of comments that I had made in reference to Hayata. And maybe I felt like I was a little bit hard on him, right? Maybe a little bit too tough. Because I think this match was good. And truth be told, it's not like I sat and watched a fucking 6-hour compilation DVD of his highlights. So I don't know. Like, all right, well, let me ask you this. You have to choose one or the other. Who you bringing back? Blakey or Hayata?
Right.
Oh,
that's a tricky question. It's a coin toss to me, honestly.
Yeah, I would agree. depending on the day of the week and what I had for breakfast. That would really be the deciding factors. But yes, we're on the same page. Good. All right.
All right, so moving on to B block then, we had Dragon Dyer finally getting off the board and getting his first 2 points in the tournament, beating Kushida in 8 minutes 4 seconds with DDDDT.
Oh.
Again, I don't know if that's the real name, but it sounds good to me. And again, I think the narrative here is that, okay, Dragon Dyer was just given Taguchi's booking, like they couldn't be bothered to change it up at all, which, sure, all right, but I think he deserved better than that. I think he's been a lot of fun. And although this is just like a mid-card guy in Dragon Gate, it's not like he's one of their main eventers that's been horrifically disrespected, and Dragon Gate obviously knew what they were getting in for, let him crash, blah, 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 but that just, I don't know, that just doesn't quite sit right with me, and it makes it harder for me to whinge about New Japan getting big leads by AEW when they do this to their promotions as well. But again, I thought Dragon Dyer was really good. I did find it funny how, in order to get this win over Kushida, he needed to have Taguchi ringside, and he needed to use Taguchi's hip attack move in order to make the difference. So he had to copy the moves of one of New Japan's junior heavyweight bottom feeders in order to eke out one win in Best of the Super Juniors. So thanks for coming, Dragon Dyer.
Yeah, no doubt. You know what? It's funny that you did mention that, how we bitch and moan about how we get gamed over other promotions. We do the same fucking thing. And let's be truthful, we did that when fucking we were, sleeping with Ring of Honor. Like we were all over that. We like New Japan guys would fucking dominate that. So yeah, whatever. Listen, we do a New Japan Pro Wrestling podcast. Come on. What was I going to say? Probably wasn't that important, if I'm being that it just literally dripped out of my ear. I'm cleaning up brain go right now out of my ear. What the fuck was my point? I forgot. Kushida.
We're going to talk Kushida, yes.
I kind of like the narrative of this. I don't know. Like, he's the guy with the most experience, the most mileage, the most years. And, well, arguably. I mean, I'm sure there'll be people looking up, Ishimori versus Kushida and how long they've each been in the business, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, you get my point. My point being is that older guy ran out of gas. I kind of like that. I kind of like that idea of him starting out hot, doing numbers that you never thought he would do, and then he ran out of gas. I kind of like that. And again, you need Taguchi's somewhat, I put in air quotes, assistance, but still, I don't know. I did when he got pinned, I was like, all right, the dude just fucking ran out of gas, and I liked it. I like the idea of that. Older guys putting over. Again, putting over. What does that mean? Guy got one fucking win, but the fact that he was willing to do that, I guess that speaks a little bit for him. I was into it. I liked it.
Then we had Drilla Maloney defeating Ninja Max. This was after Drilla Maloney said he can't be bothered and offered to let Ninja Max have the count out win, but Ninja Max wasn't having any of it and insisted they had the match. And an amazing finishing sequence where Ninja Max did one of his flippy-do moves and it was countered into the Driller Killer, which has put the shine back on it, being the most dangerous move in the junior division. And Ninja Max did a wonderful stretcher job, just selling absolute death. Not moving out of ringside, and Drilla Maloney getting some of his deadly aura back. So good booking all round. I like this.
But doesn't it infuriate you a little bit more, the fact that they did what they did? Like, they had the guy.
I've had a lot of debates about this, and a lot of people disagree with me, and they think a rope break is not the same as a kick out because it requires less effort. Like, you
I don't think so.
A foot up on the ring ropes. I mean, to me, the drama there is that when he lands the move, when the guy hits the canvas, the match is over. So if I have to start thinking about where he's placed in the ring, like, he's landing the death move, but wait, is he too close to the ring
Well,
too close to the ropes, then that's compromising some of the drama for me. So I get it. I know some people will say that a rope break is very, very different to a kick out, but to me, it took a little bit of the shine off it. But I thought they did a good job here, putting that shine back on it.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm happy with that. That's true. I did, like I said, it did make me question a little bit about, okay, why did we do all that with the rope? It should have been lights out. But not for nothing, as I do like to say. I mean, that's a core concept of pro wrestling at this point, right? Like, you got to hit your move, but yeah, you can't be too close to the ropes. And we've seen that play out many times, right? In many matches. So, I don't know. Look, do it or don't. You know what I mean? Make the move fucking killer and just stick with that. I don't like the idea of compromising that in any way, shape, or form. What do you think of that? Any way, shape, or form. I don't like it compromised until it's appropriate. And I'm going to disagree with the fact that they did do that because it feels rather meaningless that they did do that. So, all right.
All right. Ninja Back, he's been good as well. I enjoyed the Flippy Doos. Again, not a guy I would expect to see back next year, but it's been a lot of fun having along for the ride. We continue, though, to Doki defeating Robbie Eagles in 50 minutes, 41 seconds with suplex to La Luna. I will reserve Doki discourse until later on in the show. I want to talk about Robbie Eagles because my hot take as we approach the end of this tournament, I was finally going to criticize Robbie Eagles. I was going to say, he's not been good this tournament. He's faded into the background because, he's not been a featured wrestler and he's just, not been up to his usual standards. But this motherfucker, he turned it all around. Amazing match against Hiromu, amazing match against Doki. I went back and watched the other stuff and I was like, no, actually, he has been low-key brilliant as usual. So, yet again, I've got to hand it to Robbie Eagles because he's been great and I thought he was really good in this match as well. He was a really good foil for Doki and I like the way he's sort of tapping into the heel-leaning, heel-coded activities that he's been using in PWA. We heard a bit of that on commentary as well when he was doing guest commentary. So, we've got a bit of an edge on Robbie Eagles, bit of a sort of grumpy veteran aura about him, which I like. So, ultimately, I think this is a guy who the company view as a gatekeeper. I don't know if he will get back to the heights that he was during the pandemic of holding IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, but he's still fucking great. And he was great here, and he made Doki look great, and the match was brilliant. And the tail end of his Best of the Super Juniors has been ruddy good. Robbie Eagles, well done, mate.
No doubt. Look, I would go and die on the hill of saying he is one of the most valuable commodities New Japan Pro Wrestling has. I wish there was a way that we could fucking make him grow tall, right? Put just a couple inches on him, not in him, on him. Because, like, we would be talking about him in a much different light. Every time, like in a big spot, you ask of him and he delivers.
Stop yelling at me. I agree.
Or like, listen, Rich, I was pacing. I truly believe that you could do so much more with that dude if they just did it. I hate the fact that they just fly him in for this and that's it. It feels like I feel like there's just so much more that could be done with the dude. He could be.
I will add that he and Fujita have a junior tag title match lined up for the first night of the New Japan Soul tournament. So it'll be him and Fujita against Driller and Clark. So there's that.
I like that a lot. I'm thinking bigger picture, bigger, grander things, man. I know he's had a cup of coffee with the fucking title, but whew, man, like, I don't know. Him in a long-term feud with another stud, goddamn. I mean, we could really had something. And we still can have something. I don't know.
It's part of the New Japan like junior booking issue of they don't seem to book junior heavyweight feuds that are not for the title.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, seriously. We could really have some good shit. But, look, we all know the company's in a bit of flux. So who knows? But be happy that we got what we got. And he always delivers. I'm sorry. I'm not here to stick my tongue up Robbie Eagle's ass, but fucking open them up, Robbie, because I'm going in. I'm going in head first. That's the kind of shit I dig. All right. Very good.
And then main event was the big upset. Everyone thought it was just going to be Hiromu winning and booking his ticket into the semi-finals. Yeah. However, Taiji Ishimori came out on top after 20 minutes, 10 seconds with a bloody cross. Wow. I mean, this was up there for me in the match of the tournament conversation. And these guys have got excellent chemistry. The bar is set very, very high because obviously everyone will always think back to the 2018 Best of the Super Juniors final, just a transcendental match the two of them had. But this wasn't far off it, to be honest. And I just loved the way that Ishimori had already qualified, but he was just fighting tooth and nail to eliminate Hiromu, just out of spite, because he knew what it meant and he knew what Hiromu represents. So I thought this was a brilliant match, and hats off to them for not going with the obvious booking and having Ishimori win here. And it was a match that made me... There's something I've been thinking for a while, actually, that I think we maybe have been historically unfair to Ishimori by calling him out and saying that he's a guy that doesn't try a lot of the time. Because I think he is a guy who always tries and is always good, but when he hits that next gear... Again, as we like to say, when he gets that tap on the shoulder, he is one of the very best in this division. And I think we kind of forgot that. He had the injury last year and kind of out of sight, out of mind. Then he comes back and you're like, oh, God, Ishimori again. But then you see matches like this and you're like, fuck, this guy's really fucking great. He's so good. He's still so fast and sharp, and the transitions and the limb work he does and the submission stuff. And when you get into those high pace sort of reversal sequences down the stretch, like he's a brilliant wrestler, Taiji Ishimori, and I think we need to throw flowers at him today.
Okay, and I'm there for that. Trust me, I am willing and able to throw all the flowers his way, because you're correct, he did deliver. But let's be real here. There have been many times when we have watched a match of his and we know, I'm not saying that he has to go at that level, and again, that level can be great. And I thought this match was great. And it didn't have to be. Like, they could have gone through the motions. They really could have. They didn't. They chose not to. And I appreciate that. There have been times where, you're hand waving the guy and you're just like, what the fuck? And I guess that is what makes me more frustrated is that you could have that. And I'm not saying you're going to have that at a house show in fucking wherever. I'm saying, look at what this guy delivers. And if you could have a taste of that, like, you don't have those conversations with other guys. We don't have those same conversations about, all right, let's be honest here. Have we ever said these things about TJP? Have we ever said these things about Robbie Eagles? Have we ever said these things about Doki? Have we ever said these things about whomever? Fucking put the name in there. But
do they have the miles on the clock that Ishimori does? He's a guy who is 41 and he's had some serious injuries, serious neck injuries, and in a tournament that is compacted. This is condensed. It's been a lot more intense than it normally has. So I'm going to push back a little on that and say I think he is smart to be pacing himself and in order to ensure his longevity. Fair. And even when he isn't going 100 miles an hour, he's still so good that him, going in third gear is still very, very good to watch.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with the third gear. Not a fan of the third gear, but when he kicks it into first gear, yes, and you are right. You know what? You are right, because he might be the smartest guy in the fucking room, right? In the sense that, yep, he can do it, but do it sparingly. Yeah, he might be the smartest guy in the room. So, look, it's there. It's comforting to know that in a pinch, if you really leaned on him, it could happen, right? And I think that was the one thing that I needed to be reminded of, and I think we all did, is that in a pinch, that dude could fucking go. And yep, he deserves all the flowers, because at 40 something years old, with those injuries, with that, the fact that he could do that is, and that he was willing to do that. Yeah, I give him all the credit in the world. I'm still going to stand on the fucking stance of, okay, it's hit or miss, but yeah, it's an intelligent hit or miss, I guess. You know, maybe it's an intelligent miss. So, yep, I'll take a fat loss for that one, no doubt about it.
So I suppose we do need to talk about Hiromu.
Sure.
Who, for this, I think, is this the second year in a row he's not made the semi-finals? Who was in the semi-finals last year? Obviously, it was Watto and Titan in the finals, but I'm struggling to recall now. Can you remember?
Me? I don't remember shit.
What was it? Was it Leo Rush and Mike Bailey? Did they make the semi-finals as well?
You might have your answer. I am going to use the interwebs to find an answer for you. You might be right. 2003.
Yeah, it was Bailey. Okay, no, it was Despy. So it was Bailey and Watto.
Yep.
And Despy and Titan.
Yeah.
So that's 2 years in a row where Hiromu didn't make it out of the blocks.
Yeah.
So, maybe I was a bit harsh in saying that, the booking is all about Hiromu. But I'm also aware of the fact that he did have that massive dominant reign as the junior heavyweight champion last year. And I think this was needed. So the question is, what is next for Hiromu? Do you think he's a guy that they just sort of put in the background for a bit, maybe do a bit of Never trio stuff, maybe a bit of junior tag stuff, and then he inevitably is going to come back to the forefront of the junior division? Or do you think more open weight, or dare I say heavyweight, may lie in Hiromu's future?
That's a good question. I think...
Because really, I mean, he is open weight already. Like, he's had two, if I'm not mistaken, two IWGP World Heavyweight title matches. Yeah. He challenged Evil once and he challenged Sanada last year.
Right.
So it's not as if this guy is just locked into the junior division. Maybe that's fine. Maybe it's absolutely fine for him to be the big junior star, and occasionally he can be rolled out for heavyweight matches. But do you think they sort of go all out in, for example, putting him in the G1?
I would love that. Truth be told, I would love that. Here's the problem: is that when you are a cornerstone of the junior division, where do you go from here? Like, unless it's like, kind of like a joke that you're even in as a junior, where do you go? You look at the people who, and I hate to use the word graduate because, okay, what the fuck? But like, your Wills and Kennys and people of that ilk, they go on to bigger and better things, and rightfully so. Or when that's not feasible, they move on, right? And I'm staring Kushida right in the face. Problem is that it always comes down to, okay, so then what's next for Hiromu? And I think the one thing that I loved about him early on was that crazy, unpredictable style that he had. And and obviously he's tempered that down with the injuries that he had. He can still go. Look, on paper, I would love to see him in more of a heavyweight role. I just don't know how you do that. I mean, do you just ignore the height? You just say, fuck it, it is what it is. And what that would do is that would open up that junior division a lot. And kind of make it a little bit easier for new people to get moved up in the pecking order, so to speak, and you can move some puzzle pieces around a lot easier with him out of that division than with him in it, and again going tag route or maybe even never title route, but still a junior, the 6-man titles. I don't know. Like I said, I wish there was some magical fucking potion where we can put like 2 or 3 inches on a guy, just to see what he can do, or we can just ignore it and just say move on. Look, I've said it a trillion times. I love the New Japan Pro Wrestling Juniors. I love the history of it. I love it's arguably one of my favorite things in pro wrestling. They would do themselves a world of good if they just said fuck the juniors and just made everybody, like Hiromu.
No, all that history and it's
what?
David.
The history. Just I'm a big history guy. But imagine the possibilities of not having that limitation, of not having that bridge you have to cross. Like there's so many interesting and fun and exciting things that could possibly be. And again, I am just spitballing it. I am just throwing it against the wall and seeing if it sticks. They'll never do it. But that's where you have these problems of, okay, what do you do with the guy next? So, yeah, I think he takes a little bit of a backseat in the division. Nothing wrong with that. Because here's the thing, too, though. Go through those names, right? Go through those names in this year's Best of the Super Junior. Aside from Despy, who else is the cornerstone of that division? Sho? Do you consider him a fucking cornerstone of the division?
Well, that's what I think makes the booking interesting this year. That we've got like this. I don't want to call them 3 musketeers, but the big 3 of Hiromu, Ishimori, and Desperado, who have been the cornerstones of this division for the past few years. And I'm wondering if the booking of this tournament is like the last hurrah for that big 3. Mm-hmm. And I know last year, of course, we had Master Wato winning, but could this be sort of the end of this era? And then we're looking at guys like Wato and Fujita and Francesco Akira, who is injured,
right.
And even yeah.
Look, I think that would honestly, if you said, all right, Hiromu, and truth be told, I want 2 people. I want 2 people. I want Hiromu. I want Despy. Despy is a fucking heavyweight. Come on. Let's just close your eyes a little bit. He's a heavyweight. He could do it.
Not only could he do it, he should have his own faction. There, I said it.
Fuck yes. See, now we're talking. So, again, the idea of them graduating, and I hate the word graduating in this sense, but I'm going to say graduating. Boy, the possibilities that we could fucking have. Like just off the top of our head, Despy having his own fucking faction. Come on. And then, you know what? Sho could take over. Fucking, again, all the names. TJP and fucking even Doki and even Robbie Eagles. Like, there could be more fun to be had in the juniors by getting them out. And more fun and fresh matchups and interesting things by having them move up. I don't know how you do it. I don't know the logistics behind it. I don't know how you're going to fucking, again, give them lifts in their shoes. But, let's put it this way. We've had the opposite. We've had the Trent Berettas of the world as a junior. We can close our eyes and move them up to heavies, and I don't think we're going to miss a beat. Look, there was one point Show was like during COVID era New Japan Pro Wrestling, where Show it felt like somewhat groomed to take that leap into the never open heavyweight world. Why can't we do the same here? Why can't we move these guys up, clear it out a little bit, and move some puzzle pieces around? I'd be all for it.
I do like having the junior division and best of Super Juniors and all that, and it's a very, very deep division. I think there's enough talent there for. I'm not saying like a wholesale move a bunch of guys up, but I would just. I think even if we have this hard line between juniors and heavyweights, they could and should be doing more with the roster of junior heavyweights that they've got than just like, right, well, these are the 2 guys fighting for the title, these are the 4 guys fighting for the tag titles, and everyone else is invisible. But
what would be great?
Yeah,
you win the best of the Super Juniors and you graduate, you're automatically in G1.
But what if they don't want to be in G1? There's a lot of these wrestlers have spoken about their pride of representing the junior heavyweights. They might not want that.
Let me be very clear. You're going whether you want to or not. That's the new law of the land.
Little Taiji wins at Dominion and then he's in the G1.
That's right.
Ishimori against Hikuleo. Is this what you want?
That's what I want. That's exactly what I want. Yes.
Oh dear. All right, let's move on then. So let's go straight to the semi-finals, because the undercard stuff, it was just mainly to set up Dominion, and we'll touch on all that when we preview Dominion. But the A block, second place against B block, first place was Ishimori defeating TJP 90 minutes 37 seconds via Bloody Cross. I think this was my favourite match of the tournament.
Wow.
I thought this was excellent. I bet on all the near falls. I thought the chemistry was great. Just 2 veterans, 2 pros at their very best, mixing it up, some really just high level stuff. And it does sort of beg the question, okay, if TJP did the Aswang in the previous match, why did he bring him out for this match as well? But, whatever, I'll compartmentalize that. And I was happy, I was grateful that it was just regular old TJP taking part in this match. But I think this was just a really nice use of TJP in this tournament, whatever you feel about the Aswang stuff aside. And I thought it was a brilliant match.
Well, again, this just kind of lays another log on the fire of us missing the mark with Ishimori. like this is the second match that was pretty great. Truth be told, I was a little surprised. I really thought that, okay, if they were going to go this far with TJP, they would just complete the fucking cycle, not the cycle, have them go on. But I'm kind of, I don't know. I did leave that match thinking, but then that was probably the whole point of it. Having the veteran, having the guy who's been there, done that, beat the guy who's trying to make that next leap, next level. So,
and the shoulder work was so good, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I just thought it was really high level stuff, the way that Ishimori worked over TJP's shoulder. And I know he works over the shoulder in every match, but it was particularly crisp in this encounter.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he got a bonus check or something. I don't know. It just seems like it was a different Ishimori. I don't know. I felt it in 2 nights. He shut my mouth. He just shut my mouth. He went out there and fucking performed like a legend. And I think TJP did, again, put another fucking check mark next to his name of, okay, he's going to be a guy. And rightfully so. Were you surprised at the result? I was.
Not really. No. To be honest, when it came down to the final 4, I thought it's a bit of a coin flip. It could have been any of those guys going through. I thought there was a story that they could tell with TJP. But I did think, going with the narrative of this being the last hurrah for that trio of Hiromu, Despi, and Ishimori. Mm-hmm. And Ishimori and Despi it's got an interesting history, that match. And I'm not going to talk a huge amount about this because I know friend of the show, Jay Michael, is writing one of his excellent long form pieces delving into their history. And why he's so excited about that main eventing Dominion. So I'm sure when that's finished, and I've read bits of it, and it's great, as all his writing is, when you read that, that's going to get you hyped for the Dominion main event, because essentially Ishimori and Despy have got a really compelling and intriguing feud between them, but a lot of it happened during clap crowds. Yeah. So it's not really something you can go back and watch and appreciate. And it doesn't have the sort of iconic moments like Despy getting unmasked against Hiromu in that final in 2020. But there's a lot of juice there. So knowing that, it didn't surprise me to see Ishimori going through to the final.
Yeah, I mean, I just, with all the scuttlebutt and all the craziness of TJP, making a lot of noise and being a faction leader and all that. I will say this:
could you main event a Dominion with a TJP? I don't know. That seemed like a step too far for me.
No, you're exactly right in the sense that you look at the finals, Despy and Ishimori. Yeah, I mean, let's be truthful. I mean, that's plan B, right? That's, Despy, replacing Hiromu in our scenario. I mean, these are the guys that are going to headline a fucking show. You're not going to headline a show with, pardon the pun, show, right? Even though he is your fucking champion. You're not going to headline with Ninja Mac. You're not going to headline with fucking, I don't know. You're probably not going to headline with Doki, as much as we love to eat his ass. It's probably not going to happen, right? So, hindsight being 2020, this makes the most sense. Desperado and Ishimori, and if he's got one more in him, this could be really good. This could be really fucking good. This could be the main event that we've been, we're going to close a show. All right. This might be the two guys that you would want them to close the show. So, look, bottom line is this. Best of the Super Juniors, they were dealt some weird fucking cards. And, looking back, when we were in the middle of it, it didn't look promising. But at the end of the day, not a bad last two nights. And look, this is a finals that makes the most sense, and it has the potential of being really fucking great. So, once again, I'll take a big fat loss, man, because I was wrong, and it feels so good. It does feel good.
I had a question from Jersey Joe Gotch, who says, can you put Best of the Super Juniors in historic context for us? I think it was one of the worst Best of the Super Juniors, but perhaps I'm wrong. Yeah, I think that's unfair. I don't think it was one of the worst. I don't think it holds up to, the prime years of 2017, 18, particularly 2019. That's the one that everyone loved. Shingo and Ospreay and Dragon Lee and
go back to 2008
and all those guys.
Come on, go back to 2008, where you had.
I think it beats all the pandemic ones as well.
Yeah,
so I think yeah.
I mean, you had fucking 2008 stunk. Let's see here. I'm actually digging through. 2007 wasn't that great either. You had injuries and fucking, that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's Devitt getting hurt. You had Milano Collection AT in the mix. El Samurai on his last fucking legs in this thing. And how about that? Yes, with 4 big points. I mean, you had Ghetto in there. Fucking 4 points. Naito in Best of the Super Juniors. How do you like that? How do you like those apples?
Brace yourself for something fuel nominal. Unleaded 88 is the clear fuel choice. It's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. And it's grown by Iowa corn farmers. Now that's totally worth the hype. So pump it up with Unleaded 88.
I said before, I think this is a tournament that would have a high floor and a low ceiling, and I think that's been borne out. Like, there's nothing that I think has been transcendental, nailed on. This is going to be in my top 3 match of the year, because that's the product New Japan is at the moment. All the the best wrestlers have gone to other promotions, so what we're left with is not capable of hitting the heights in the same way that they did in the end of the previous decade. But on the whole, I thought it was. We're not even finished talking about it. We're talking about it like I've wrapped it up now. I would like to talk about Desperado against Doki in the other semi-final. That was 22 minutes, Pinche Loco. This I enjoyed a lot because it kind of reminded me of back in 2017, the way that the intra-Suzuki-gun matches would play out. So there's one in particular, I think it was Despi against, I forget who it was. It was either Kanemaru or maybe it was Taiji, and he was just getting bullied. And this kind of absolutely big brothered. And those are the vibes I got from here, where there's that great story with Despi and Doki. Obviously, Despi unable to compete in the 2019 Best of the Super Juniors because he got his jaw dislocated or broken by Jun Kasai. So Doki being the late replacement from that, and everyone thinking, oh my God, look at this fucked up little dude, this shindy freak. And I loved him from day one. I was like, this guy's got something. And I've been saying on this podcast for years that there is something there. He's relatively young, he's got time on his side, and he's got that crowd connection. The Korakuen fans love him, and he's obviously working his socks off. He won the concurso, didn't he? Because he's in just tremendous shape, and he's really elevated his in-ring game, because he's not just doing the sort of wild and reckless and dangerous style that he has done. I mean, there's still elements of that, but I thought he wrestled a really smart match here, and commentary did a great job putting it over as well, where he was making adjustments in his style to sort of play into what he knew Despi was going to do, and being able to sort of anticipate what Despi was going to do and play off that and counter that. So it wasn't like this is the same 2019 shindy guy who's just doing crazy shit and been elevated into a spot that's beyond him. It was like watching him learn and evolve before our very eyes. So I just really enjoyed that dynamic between them, where now Despi is the big brother with these guys, who used to be stable mates, and Despi was kind of big brothering Doki during this match. And I think all the matches they've had so far, Despi has won, and that's how it should be. But I would imagine if that continues, there will be a match at some point in the future where Doki finally gets the win over Despi, and that's going to mean something because of matches like this. So you can say the same thing here that you could about the TJP thing. I think this was a great elevation for Doki. And, who'd have seen this coming? I would not have imagined, even in my wildest dreams, that Doki would be making a semi-final. So kudos to New Japan for putting the trigger on that and pushing him. And I think he's well deserved it. And I think even though he's not made it to the final, him and TJP have both gained a lot from making it to the semi-finals. And the semi-final format is something there's a lot of criticism about that, and how it makes the booking sort of more predictable and reduces the drama of the latter stages of the tournament. But when you have these high stakes semi-final matches like this, I think even the losing semi-finalists gain a lot from it.
Yeah. The problem is that it's hard to remember them previous, but you're not going to sit there and be like, okay, so it was that Best of the Super Juniors that he took off. But in the moment, you're seeing that progression. So yeah, I'm with you. Doki's 30, early 30s, if I'm not mistaken. I think he maybe just broke 30. It might be like 31 or something like that. Yeah, he's only been in the game for 14 years. It's not a lot. And we're talking, 2000 did he debut in New Japan? So or maybe it was I forget, one of the two, 1920.
2019 was when he was the rest of the Super Juniors replacement for Despi.
Okay, so just think of that moment. Just think of that time frame, and you're right. There were people that kind of ironically liked him. They just because he did look indie sleazy. in whatever people just wanted to hitch their wagon to it, to where he is now. Like look, I don't think anybody in their right mind would have trusted him in a spot like that we saw last week, in 2019 or in 2020 or probably 2021. But talk about a guy who, it's not like he's been given a ton of opportunities, but the opportunity.
And he probably only got this, I should say, if Akira hadn't got injured, I think a lot of people predicted this was going to be Francesco Akira's spot. So it may not have been the plan all along. But if this was a pivot, then a very fortuitous one.
Yeah, no doubt. But here's the thing, too. I mean, yes, it did seem like it was fill-in-the-blank booking when it came to some guys. And you might make the argument that Doki would fall into that category with the injuries. That being said, you still got to put the guy in the spot, and you still got to have him deliver. Like, we could be sitting here talking about this and being like, "What the fuck? What a clusterfuck? What a just slop." And no, that wasn't the case at all. So, again, I'm sitting here talking like the guy, first walked into a wrestling ring 10 years ago. It's not the case, but like the progression of him and being able to be put in a spot like this, I think it speaks volumes of to where he was and what he was, better yet, what he was perceived as and what he is now. Like, that's not an easy thing to do. Because there are a ton. I guarantee you, if you just pressed pause for a second and you could rattle off 5-10 guys that were really good, but never got the chance. Never got a moment. Never got even close to a moment. You could do it. Not hard to do. But the fact that he's crawled and scratched and, made something happen out of what, quite honestly, was a great little spot for him to be the wacky, brawly junior heavyweight, that's going to, the
Pinny. He was the Pinny.
Yeah, he was the new Bushi, and he could have conveniently been that, but like, he's made the most of it. And again, the company trusting him, and again, maybe being at the right place at the right time, and the injuries and all that stuff. Look, that all adds up, I'm sure. But at the end of the day, we're looking at a guy who is not the same guy as when he started. And we're for the better for it. Everybody is. The promotion, everybody. And it's not like Doki's like, again, I hate to be the guy that's like talking money like it's, we're fucking, playing Football Manager or something. But, it's not like he's costs a ton either. He's a reliable hand, and even more than that now. And let's be truthful, they're probably getting him on the cheap. So I'd be very curious as to if and when the contracts expire, what kind of negotiating you would have in that. But we'll see. Good for him.
All right, let's move on to preview the Dominion card then. So the first match, we've got a kickoff match. Oh, no, sorry, this is not for Dominion. This is for the altogether kickoff match. So this is not Dominion at all. This is altogether on June 15th. And the kickoff match for that is Tomoaki Honma and Toru Yano against Tomoya. And Andre's a giant panda, everyone's favourite. Oh. So I just saw that and got excited. So that's not for Dominion, that's altogether. I apologise. So we're going to have to wait a little bit longer before seeing Andre's a giant panda in action. But yeah, let's back to the Dominion card. Which
G1. I want G1 for the panda.
Yes,
that's my goal. That'd be fucking awesome. Right. They're doing the video vignette, and they're like, whoosh, bing, giant panda.
Please, a giant panda.
I would fucking shoot
the crowd. Oh,
yeah, you hear the pop. So great. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We might actually get G1 announcements on Dominion. I think we did last year. I've heard nothing about G1. They're keeping that one very quiet, so I don't know anything. So anyway, so this will come up on Sunday at Osaka-jo Hall. We are opening with a singles match, 20-minute time limit. Okay. Callum Newman against Tetsuya Naito.
Fuck.
Big spot. That's a big spot for Callum.
No doubt.
And I'll be thinking a lot of noise about G1. This strikes me as one of these matches where it's going to be very competitive. And can he lose this and then say, I'm in the G1?
That's a great question. Could he? Yes, if it's made competitive. How long? 20-minute time limit?
Yes.
I don't think it sniffs that. Do you? I don't think. I mean, maybe. I mean, that's a weird spot, isn't it? Look, we sat here and we were like, okay, like months ago, we were like, all right, is he in it or not in it? And we're like, yeah, he's probably in it. He's going to be in it. And like I say that, like we were disappointed. We were not. We want Callum in it. I think it'd be great. Wow, opening match. Wow. Whew. Like if you told me that was the third match, I might be like, all right, obviously Naito's getting the win and blah, 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 blah. We'll make him look strong and away we go. First match, maybe. And again, this is wacky thinking, mind you, but maybe he gets a big win. And we start off this show red fucking hot. Can you imagine him getting a fucking pinfall win? Like, why would they do this match otherwise? Like, doesn't this stick out like a sore
I think about, you remember like the 2019 Dominion opener was the famous Moxley against Shota Umino match, where obviously Shota Umino didn't win, but it was a big spot for him, and that sort of laid the groundwork for a lot of future storylines.
Right. I mean, something's up with that. I mean, but why would they have that match first? Again, pipe dreaming it, sure, he gets the fucking win. But maybe he gets the win. At the very least, you would think something comes of this. Like this again, why would they have this? They could put anybody in that fucking match. Very interesting. Very interesting first match. Okay. All right, you got me hooked. Go ahead.
Second match, we got Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, and Zack Sabre Jr. against LJ Cleary, Driller Maloney, and Clark Connors.
I'm sorry, LJ Cleary?
LJ Cleary, do you know who that is?
I have no fucking idea.
So he is an Irish wrestler, and he wrestles primarily for OTT, but he recently has been competing in Pro Wrestling Noah. He's part of the Good Looking Guys stable.
Okay. I'm looking him up. I do recognize. I didn't recognize the name, but I do recognize him. Man, they're digging him out. Digging out the European wrestlers. I can't give you an opinion. I'll be very truthful. I have not seen him perform, so maybe I'll do a little investigating. But yes, Irish wrestler, Noah. Yep, I'm looking at that. Okay, all right. Let's see what he's got. I'm sure.
Maybe they're setting something up with him and Zach. I don't know, for some sort of interpromotional stuff. I mean, obviously the primary function of this match is going to be to build hype for the Fujita and Eagles versus Driller and Clark junior tag title match at New Japan Seoul. But yeah, not for nothing, as you would say. I'll keep an eye on Zach and LJ.
25 years old, 25, a youngster. All right, let's see what we got. All right.
Then the third match is the KOPW 2024 Storm Catch Rules match with the holder Yuya Uemura defending against the challenger Great-O-Khan. So all striking techniques are prohibited, only valid for chokes, joints, and throwing techniques. Other rules are normal wrestling rules. Rope escape is limited to 2 times. Losing due to a foul on third rope escape. Okay. Even if the rope goes out of bounds, it is considered a rope escape. So Storm Catch Rules. So we've moved away from the sort of wacky tire lifting, lemon eating table match scenarios, and we're back to basics here. Something that I think both of these wrestlers are very good at. So I'm into this one. For the third match on a show, let's see what they got.
Yeah, it's different, that's for sure. I'm waiting them to fucking come in with their little gi. That'd be great. To take down the ropes, coming in their fucking pajamas. Yeah, I mean, it's different. I mean, I can't say I'm sitting here doing cartwheels, but yeah. Okay, third match.
It beats having like a random 6-man tag match, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'll give you that. And again, it's not a fucking, solve a Rubik's Cube and then see how many fucking plums you can shove
it up your ass.
Right, exactly. I fit 3 plums in my ass. I win. All right, very good. See, we always fucking go off course. See what you do? Son of a bitch.
I blame O'Khan for that. That's his aura. Fourth match then is the never openweight 6-man tag team championship match, where the champions, Damon, who are the champions?
The never 6-man tag team champions are the team of. Boy, I should know this, being that I do a New Japan Pro Wrestling podcast. I do know. Isn't it fucking the House of Torture fuck faces, isn't it? Right? Am I wrong? I'm wrong.
No, wrong.
Who is it?
Okay, I'll give you a clue. One of the holders is the president.
Oh my god, it is Hiroshi Tanahashi. Boy, oh boy. My god, I have no fucking idea. I didn't even know they still had these things. Oh yeah, wait a minute. It's Hiroshi Tanahashi. Correct me if I'm wrong. We're looking at one of the young lions. Oleg Bolton, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now let me think. Holy shit. Taguchi? I'm seriously, and
you're in the right ballpark.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm in the right ballpark.
Yeah. But wrong.
Can you tell me who they defeated House of Torture, right? Whoever won this match. When the fuck was this match?
I can't remember. It was they did the tournament in Taiwan, didn't they?
Oh Christ! I don't know. I honestly don't know. Who was it? Holy
yes.
Shit. Seriously, if you asked 100 New Japan Pro Wrestling fans, here's what I want you to do, people. Being that you know the answer, I want you to text your buddy. I want you to text your friend and ask them that question and see if they get it right. You got to be New Japan fans. Quote. You know what? Text Keeping It Strong Style right now and see if they have the answer. You know what?
They know they're way better than us. They actually follow this company properly.
We text Hiroshi Tanahashi and see if he knows the answer. It's me. All right, very good.
Right. Anyway, challengers. Yeah. The challengers are LIJT, Bushi, Hiromu, and Yota Tsuji. So I like this. I mean, it's good on paper. It's a cool, challenging team, and it's always hard to predict because usually my logic would be, if the challengers are a cool team made up of cool dudes, they're not going to win it because they're too cool for the 6-man divisions. But then again, we did have Okada, Ishii, and Tanahashi holding it for the best part of the year. So who knows? I don't know. I don't know if I like the idea of Yota Tsuji with a 6-man tag belt, and I can't really see Hiromu with that. Bushi, a lot of history with these belts, but I think it's probably a successful defense. I did give my prediction for the Pride match. I think Yuya defends KPW, and I think Oleg, Yano, and Tanahashi will successfully defend their 6-man titles.
The president keeping the title. Look at you. I'm going to switch things up. I'll say there's a title change here. Why not? Get the titles off the president. This is who do you think he is? Dusty Rhodes? Get the fucking belts off. All right.
Fifth match, we've got the NJPW World TV Championship match. Jeff Cobb defending against Tomohiro Ishii. This is what we want, isn't it? I mean, this is kind of, in a lot of ways, echoing I was going to say what the Never title used to represent, but the Never title vibe has come back now. So now we've got two big dude, meat, slappy, hard-hitting titles. So I think Jeff Cobb retains here, but this is going to be a lot of fun. I'll be very interested, actually, if this is G1 announcements on the show, if Ishii makes the cut, given what we've heard about the state of his knee. Yeah. I know he's good for the odd singles match, but is he okay to do a full tournament like that? I don't know. But I digress. I think it'd be a really fun match. Jeff Cobb to defend successfully.
Can you imagine? Like, again, we all get old. Ishii not in G1. Wow. That'd be, I gotta be honest with you. I mean, look, we all know what to expect, and it's not 10 years ago, but it would be very odd, to say the least. Yeah, I think Jeff Cobb wins. I think this is a perfect match for both of them. Squeeze as much as you can in 15 fucking minutes. I'm all for it. I think this will be fabulous, fantastic. Can I do this? Can we do while we're doing this show? And I'm just going to throw it out there periodically. Are they in G1 or not? Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Oh, God. I'm going to say yes. I mean, I'm assuming that they're doing 32 men again, which means everyone's in.
Me too. That's what I'm kind of going with. And Ishii, you think he's on the fence? You think he's not in it?
Yeah, just, again, I don't know if his knee can hold up for that, but...
Okay. All right.
Give him a few injections. I'm sure he'll pull through.
They got good drugs there. They got people flying it in. Why do you think some people have contracts? Jeez, I'm kidding. Kidding, of course. All right, move on, please, before I get in more trouble.
Then, in the sixth match on the show, we have the IWGP Tag Team and Strong Tag Team Championship four-way tornado elimination match, where we have the Strong Champs, ELP and Hikoreo, the IWGP Tag Champs, Chase Owens and Kenta, against Bishamon and TMDK, Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols. Now, interesting caveat to this is that apparently Shane Haste's contract is up soon. It is expiring soon. So I don't know if this is slapjack angling for a way back into WWE. I was surprised that he had a New Japan contract in the first place. I don't seem to do contracts anymore. But that's, I was going to say TMDK to win both sets of tag titles, but now I'm not so sure. Now I think the safe option be to just put them both back on Bishamon.
Yeah, that's exactly
Bishamon,
the way I would go. Yeah. I mean, because
traveling the world, they're doing stuff in Tamashii. I don't know if they've already done it or if they are going to do it, because I have zero interest in Tamashii. But I don't know. This match could be a lot of fun. I like the elimination thing, because that means we're not going to have to see too much of Chasers and Kenta. Hopefully, right. Having said that, they're probably going to end up winning both sets of tag belts. But I'm going to optimistically plump for Bishamon here.
Okay, I'm with you on that one. And eventually we got to fucking find a way to get Hikuleo out the door, right? So, yeah, I think you're on point. I'm rooting with my heart for Bishamon, and but the pessimist in me is chasing Kenta. Here we go. Take it home, the kids.
Seventh match, we've got the Never Openweight Championship match. Shingo Takagi versus HENARE. Let's fucking go. Yeah. This is what we want. Third from the top. They're going to get some time here. This is what we like at the Super J Cast. They have got great history together. They've had some tremendous matches in New Japan Cup. They had the KOPW match. I can't remember what it was, but it had all the... What was it? It was like a... You know what it was, where they had to get like a submission and a pin and a count out and a disqualification that to get all of them out. I'm going to look it up because I want to know what it was. Right, yeah. Shingo versus HENARE KOPW, because it was really good and everyone enjoyed it. It got high ratings. It was an ultimate triad match. Okay. That's what it was called, wasn't it? And that was really good. And I think, did they also wrestled in the G1, if I'm not mistaken? So really, that should have been the Wrestle Kingdom match, but it wasn't because of Tama Tonga and his politicking. But, we're making up for lost time here. Third from the top at Dominion. HENARE's back. Him and Shingo are going to beat the shit out of each other, and it's going to be good, isn't it?
It sure is. It certainly is. I think HENARE, like, it's baby steps, it feels like. But, like, every once in a while, there's a little bit higher rung on the ladder. And once again. Not that he needs it, but this is another opportunity for HENARE, who, trust me, he recognizes that, and he will shine again. And he's in there with a great dance partner, as we all know. So, yeah. I mean, look, he's had a little time away from the ring. He's been able to rest his weary bones. I think this is going to be fucking spectacular. Because here's the thing, too. I think they both know that, okay, we could steal a show here. Like, we could get people talking. We could be that. And I think they're leaning heavily into it. So let's go. That's one I have circled. Let's put it that way. I think this one will be great with a capital G.
I think HENARE is winning.
Yeah, me too. That'd be awesome. Correct me if I'm wrong. Would that be his first singles title, correct?
Yes, I think it would.
It would be. Let's do it. I'm all in. I'm all in on HENARE walking home with some gold and some parties going on in Osaka. That's what I want.
A pretty tasty card so far.
Not bad.
And that comes screeching to a halt in the 8th match, the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship Lumberjack Death Match. Jon Moxley, who's going to be seconded by Shota Umino, Hiroshi Tenzan, Yuji Nagata, Togi Makabe, and Tiger Mask, taking on King of Darkness Evil, who's going to be seconded by Ren, Yujiro, Sho, Kanemaru, and Dick Togo.
Well, here's the problem. And there are many. But here's the problem. One, Jon Moxley's one of his greatest strengths is the fact that when you do get subjected to a nice, sexy walk-in brawl, he's pretty good at it. Like, he's pretty solid there. So you're confining them to the ring, and again, you're going to have shenanigans where, people are going to try and leave and get thrown back in, and, the usual lumberjack storylines. But maybe there's a little creativity in there as well. I smell a turn here. I smell Shota turning on Jon Moxley, causing him to lose the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. And we will have Evil winning that title. How do you feel about that prediction?
I also think Evil is winning, but I think Shota is challenging Evil for the title next. That's
fair enough. I like the idea of a turn, and here's why. It does easily set up a little program between Mox and Shota. But easily.
But they just wrestled.
They did, but they can do it again. Why not?
You don't need to set up a program. The history's already there.
I want a program. No, it probably won't happen, though. You're probably right. But we're both in agreement. That we're seeing a title change here.
Yeah, I've got questions about this. Mac19 says, I don't believe Mox is losing the title at Dominion. I believe New Japan doesn't have the confidence that this match is going to be good with Evil. Why bother continuing with him as champ? And if Zack isn't the challenger at Forbidden Door, then what? David Bentley Fart says, chances of Evil winning. Also, never forget that Man United won more trophies in their worst Premier League season than Arsenal. It's not about trophies. I would not swap positions with Man United for all tea in China. I think there's another question. Oh, yeah. If Ruff says, if Moxley makes it through Dominion and Forbidden Door as IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, is there any possible show where he could drop the title before Wrestle Kingdom 19? Now, having said that, I think Evil's going to win. There is the spectre of Forbidden Door looming. And you'd have to think Moxley defending the IWGP title would figure probably on that. I don't know
really
if they would be if they would be bold enough to have Evil wrestling a high profile singles match of Forbidden Door. They should, and I would love it if they did, but I'm not sure if they will. So now I'm second guessing myself here because I think it could be like Naito winning the title back from Mox. So I don't know what to think now. There's a lot of possibilities here. I mean, I know we're all loving John Moxley's title reign and all these thrilling eliminator matches. Is it an eliminator match? Is it a non-title match? Can anyone explain the difference? Oh, I don't know.
Don't you read, man? It's non-title, man. Sure.
Yeah, we're having a good time with that. I don't want that to end. That's brilliant. So yeah. No, I don't know what to think, Damon.
I'll tell you what to think. Let me guide you. Evil was winning this title. Because why not? Like, let's be very truthful here.
It will really piss off the AEW fans. So why not?
Well,
that's as good a reason as any to pull the trigger.
Do you think AEW fans give a flying fuck about Jon Moxley holding the IWGP Heavyweight Championship?
Okay, can I have one of two things happening?
Yes.
One, either Evil wins this and defends it at Forbidden Door, or two, Moxley wins it and defends it against another AEW wrestler at Forbidden Door. So both the AEW title match and the New Japan title match at Forbidden Door are wrestled exclusively between AEW contracted talent.
That sounds about right. The way we're going here, I'm sticking with Evil. I think this is all set up for Evil. And here's the thing: I don't necessarily have that much of. Well, let me take that back because I do have a problem with it in overall. But I don't know. Like what? Look, at least the titles with a fucking New Japan contracted talent. You know what I mean? Like, it's not this fucking renegade guy running around with this title. I'm sticking with it. Stick with your gun. Stick with your heart. Don't let AEW decide what the fuck happens. But the problem is this, though, and you know it as well as I do. You know the reason why we have this lumberjack role, right? You do know that this is to cause an easy out for Jon Moxley to lie down in a New Japan Pro Wrestling ring, which never fucking happens, right? Like, this is what...
Yeah, or he can't be bothered to wrestle a proper match.
Right.
And he just wants to do like a lazy walk and brawl, and everyone's going to go, oh, it's so good.
Right. So it's like, okay, we're gonna go through the motions of pretending that, you know, this lumberjack stipulation is just something that they pulled out of their fucking ass. Like, this is pre-baked for shenanigans and nonsense and shit that, you know, we know is not, you know... It's to get him to. It's not really to get him. I don't know. It's a lot of talking him into per se. But anyway, long and the short of it is this: is that we have wacky stipulations, so wacky things can occur, so that a thing that hasn't happened in a New Japan ring occurs. That's what we're doing here, right? So yeah. How do you feel? How do you feel about Evil being 2-time world champion?
Could it be any worse than what's currently happening with the title?
That's my point. There it is. You nailed it. Ding, 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 ding. Right. And I hate to be that guy. I hate to be the guy of, well, what, can't get any fucking worse, can it? Probably could. But I will say that my biggest concern is, I think a lot of people's concern is, fuck, this guy's going to headline shows, and are we going to get great matches, or are we just going to get nonsense at the top? That's our biggest concern, and trust me, I think we'll find a way to get through it. But that's what we're looking at in our history, or in our future.
If we got HENARE with the Never title, and you know Jeff Cobb continue to hold the TV title, maybe we get the tag titles back on Bishamon.
Yeah, the undercard could carry it.
There's enough there for yeah.
Undercard could carry it. That's, you know what, you're right. Yeah, so which leads me to believe that they are definitely fucking doing that if they have that mindset. So yeah, but I definitely do think we're seeing a title change. I would be shocked, and I will put up $1 American to anyone who not anyone. It has to be just one person. It can't be 5,000 people. I don't want $5,000. But I'll bet collectively $1 that we'll see a title change.
Main event then, Best of the Super Juniors 31 final, El Desperado versus Taiji Ishimori. I've got high expectations going into this, and by the time this podcast drops, J. Michael's piece may very well be finished. I will plug that on the Twitteroo, so make sure you have a read of that to get you hyped for this. And I think this is the moment. This is Despy's moment, right? This is... They've given him a lot this year. He beat Hiromu for the title, ended that long reign at Wrestle Kingdom. That was a big spot. And I know he's lost it to Show through some bullshit. And I know this is not for the junior heavyweight title. I keep forgetting that this is just Best of the Super Juniors final. But I think this is the moment and the biggest match of both of their careers, I would say. Is that fair to say? Main eventing Dominion. Huge spot.
Yeah.
I have every faith that they're going to deliver. That's going to be a brilliant match. I mean, what's the expectations here? I think this should be... We should be expecting a match of the year candidate here, given the quality of both wrestlers. So I'm expecting a brilliant match. I'm expecting El Desperado to win, and this to be a wonderful moment that we can all look back on in the illustrious history of El Desperado, who, a lot of his best stuff came during the pandemic, which is not fair and not right. And this feels like a kind of a make good for that.
I like this. I like it. Has either guy won Best of the Super Juniors before? I don't think so, right?
No, that was the interesting thing with the four semi-finalists. They were all, none of them had ever won Best of the Super Juniors before. So this should be, for me, a celebration of El Desperado.
I'm with you on the Despy. If I had a choice, I would not have a problem with Ishimori winning it. Again, if in fact we get that match and hopefully a match of the year contender that I think everyone is pining for, and everyone thinks can happen, I don't care who wins. Either of them, I'm fine with, because again, it'd be the first one for each. I'm into that. Despy winning, again, he's a personal favorite. I know he's a favorite of yours and a favorite for many that listen. But I don't want to have a problem with either one. Here's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for a match that people will be like, oh, carve out half an hour of your weekend. You got to check this out. Got to watch that. I want the text to come in of, holy fucking shit, that was great. I want the conversation to be that. Big spotlight. You're right. For two guys that have been in this business for a little bit, they both have a lot of miles. This is a big spot. A big fucking spot. If you're going to deliver, this is it. You know what I mean? Like, if you got anything in the tank, this is where you leave it in the fucking ring. Main event, Dominion. Yeah, I hate the old saying of, I don't care who wins, I just hope they have fun. I just hope they fucking go out there and have a fucking match that everybody can sink their teeth into. I really do. And I think we will get it. And I think it'll be great. Just to play devil's advocate, I'm going to go with Ishimori winning. But I think greatness is in store.
Now, one interesting wrinkle for this is that the very next day, on Monday, is the Despy Invitational.
Oh, really?
So that's the Mystery Vortex card. So we don't know what is going to be announced for that. But Kevin Ford asks, does Despy win Best of the Super Juniors and immediately challenge for the junior title at his Despy Invitational pay-per-view the next night? I don't know if they would be as brazen to put the show channel, but maybe they could. Why not? Why the fuck not? I do think having that Despy show the day after makes me lean more towards Despy winning.
Okay.
But do you think they would be so bold as to have the show challenge the next day on a pay-per-view?
That would be a fucking bold move, yes. Interesting. Look, obviously they could. I think we're all just kind of trying to look at past histories and would they do something like this and allow something like this to happen? I'll go. You got a 30% chance. I'll go 25% chance of that occurring. Listen, I don't think it's a slam dunk that he wins, to be quite frank, but I'll say 25% chance that scenario works out.
And how we feel about Dominion overall. So, Multiverse Aces Dominion is usually one of my favourite shows of the year, and with the Best of the Super Juniors final, along with Shingo versus HENARE, there should be some great matches. Where does this card rank with past incarnations of the event? It's up there. Like, there's no filler there. Like, really, top to bottom, there is something intriguing in all of those matches.
There is.
We've got a lot of title matches. I mean, the only thing that I think is a little bit of a shame is that there's not more for the junior heavyweight, seeing as this is the Best of the Super Juniors final as well. But also, this is Dominion, and we want to get our good shit on Dominion. And I think putting our complaints about the booking of the IWGP World Heavyweight title to one side, I think this is a very strong card.
I think, yeah. I mean, you going through it, I love the idea of that opening match. That's pretty interesting. Like right out of the gate, we're looking hot. Look, I like the idea of. I think where we're falling short is if you look back at all these Dominion shows throughout the years, you were usually guaranteed a fucking stud heavyweight championship match. Like you had in the past AJ versus Okada. You had Naito versus Okada. You had Kenny versus Okada. You had Shingo versus Okada, if I'm not mistaken. Like
we don't talk about Okada versus Chris Jericho,
right? But even like back in the day, like Okada. I mean, listen again. I'm saying Okada a lot here, but he had a pretty great match with Togi Makabe, if I'm not mistaken, back in the day. Look, I think the card itself is. I like it. I like it. I don't think it compares to, say, a lot of others. I'd be curious though, because I would like to see like the undercard of some of these shows and see how they stack up. Because here's the thing, like that, and I'll just use the show that you were at, Kenny against Okada, right? You were there, right?
Correct. Yeah. And I was there at the 2019 one as well.
Yeah.
That was with the Naito Ibushi suplex neck bump apron spot.
Yes, it was. Like you had a really good fucking show. You had a good undercard. I mean, you had Hiromu versus Will for the junior. You had the crazy team of Hiroshi Tanahashi, Jushin Liger, and Rey Mysterio Jr. Do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
I mean, you had a pretty
and the trios team of Cody, Hangman Page, and Marty Scurll.
Wow,
as their opponents.
Holy shit! Yeah, I mean, it's just
people whose careers went in very different directions.
They certainly did. All right, let me go even more recent. Let's do Dominion, headlined by Jay White against one Kazuchika Okada. This was Ospreay beat Sanada for the U.S. Championship. And this one isn't that great, actually. Well, Shingo versus Taiji was pretty good, if I remember it right. Wasn't that pretty good? The pinfall scramble match. Yeah, this one was okay. Let's put it this way. This card I do like on paper. It's just missing that heavyweight championship match. Again, we know what we're getting. And again, hopefully the juniors will help supplement that and get everyone a buzz about this, because again, it has the possibility. And here's the thing too. Even though we might not like the idea of Evil winning the title, this might be. Are you just going to the fucking bank with this is going to be bad? I think it has a possibility of being okay. You going bad? Yeah. Okay.
So we've got lumberjacks of House of Torture
Right.
and the dads.
Right. Listen, I'm trying, people.
But there's a strong possibility that that's going to sort of veer into funny bad.
Yeah.
I can see some good like meme ammo coming out of this one.
The problem is, if this was just a fucking match, nobody would give a shit. The problem is what it is. You're right. Yeah, it's got fucking cringeworthy written all over it. But here we go. All right. Yeah. So again, on paper, show's pretty good. I'm struggling with the main event still. I'm sorry. I'm struggling with the main event.
All right, last thing to touch on here is I'll read Chris Sampson's notes here. So NJPW President Hiroshi Tanahashi addressed the media on June 4th with a 10-point plan for the future of New Japan. So I'm going to go through these. I don't think all 10 of them warrant discussion, but you can shout at me and please interrupt if there are any of these points that you want to discuss.
Okay.
So number 1, talent discovery and development. Young talent should wrestle in more high-level spots. Wrestlers still need to earn their spots in tournaments like the G1. NJPW wants the best wrestlers in their early 20s in Japan.
Fine.
2, elevating the value of title belts. It is important to clarify the role and concept of each title. Strong titles will be defended on USA shows only going forward. Company acknowledges that the tag titles are about to be combined at Dominion. The process may take time. The company acknowledges that 13 titles may be challenging to follow. This process may take time, 12 to 18 months.
Yay, somebody listens. All right, good job. Keep listening, Hiroshi.
3, reducing/eliminating outside interference. They haven't determined concrete penalties, but interference will be limited. A lot of talk and questions about whether House of Torture is the reason for this goal. The company acknowledges the fans' frustrations regarding House of Torture. The company acknowledges that pro wrestling is unique when it comes to wrestlers turning things in their favor any way they can.
Okay. I mean, look, that sounds like a little pro wrestling speak. That sounds like Jack Tunney behind a fucking table. But okay, all right. Listen, here's the thing. I think it's kind of weird that they're even acknowledging it. Just do it. Just you don't need to sit at a press table and fucking address the media. Just do that. Just do that. Okay.
Well, they're going to do an angle, aren't they? President Tanahashi against President Evil. That's going to be a match and a thing.
Don't worry. In November, we're getting President. Never mind.
No.
Boom. Zinger.
Satire.
Oh, boy.
Right. 4, increasing the prominence and status of NJPW Hontai. Tanahashi wants Hontai to be a desired unit for young wrestlers or wrestlers returning from excursion. 5, strengthening ties with Stardom. Stardom will be owned by NJPW as of the end of June. Look for improved operational efficiency, scheduling crossover events and Stardom on NJPW events soon.
All right.
6. Now, here's the interesting one. NJPW strengthening ties with AEW. NJPW is happy with their relationship with AEW. Mm-hmm. Here's the quote. There is the perception that NJPW is treated as a sub-brand or is looked down on by AEW. Some of that perception of NJPW being behind comes from the economics at the moment, but the truth of the matter is AEW's strengths and NJPW's strengths are different. From development of talent from scratch to a historical and traditional perspective, there's a lot NJPW can offer that AEW cannot. So there's a lot we can do together, and while much of it isn't something we can discuss right now, there's a lot we will do. But the idea that NJPW is the inferior partner is not correct. We are absolutely on an even footing, and that's something we'll prove in the near future. So I think the very fact that they felt the need to address this indicates that there's a problem, right? And again, this is not something that I particularly care about, but there was a lot of brouhaha about the fact that at Forbidden Door, the challenger for the AEW title is another AEW wrestler. Like, they didn't even bother to do, it's a crossover thing and have a New Japan guy challenge for the AEW title, even though the previous year, when it came to determining who the challenger was for the New Japan title, it was just Jack Perry backstage going, I'll do it if no one else wants to. So, yeah, that to me is the most interesting one, that they felt the need to speak up about that.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Because it's as glaring as just about the sky being blue. Look, that your words are great. Like, we would love to see that in action. We would love to see that in practice. Great. I mean, it's great that you acknowledge that it is this way in a lot of people's eyes. And it's great that you bring up the history of New Japan, and yep, I'm all for it. But here's the problem: AEW doesn't give a fuck about that, right? Let's be honest; they don't give a fuck about that. They don't give a shit. And at the end of the day, nobody gives a fuck as long as these shows make money, right? Let's be honest here. That's what we. Okay, well, let's. I'm not holding my breath, but okay, great. I'm glad that that's out in the open, that you feel people think that you're a bitch and this company's a bitch. Fine. You listen.
I'm not owned. I insist as I slowly shrivel into a corn cob.
Well, right. And listen, we always have Noah being our bitch, and we have Dragon. We got a lot. We can just fucking take our frustrations out.
Fuck you, Dragon Dyer. Your 2 points,
yeah,
bitch.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah. Okay, we'll see. What other gems do we have?
We've got number 7, improving the live fan experience. Ideas, different prices, different pricing tiers, female-only seating sections. This is the one that's made me laugh. Special food menus.
Oh, great.
Consider number of people in a box.
Talk to me.
That exquisite Fantastica Mania Mexican food on offer at Corrigan. 8, improving NJPW world. Apologies for the clunky transition. Archive should be complete by the end of the year. Live viewing has been fixed/improved. No mention of the English website at all. 9, improved treatment of personal information. Apologies for getting that USB drive stolen/lost. Plans are in place to keep data safe going forward. And 10, NJPW sponsorships. Thank you to sponsors.
Thank you, sponsors. Yes, of course. We always love the sponsors, the Lawsons and the, what was it? What was the one thing? The Body Fit? What was it? Whatever it was. Who knows? Good for them. Keep the sponsorships coming. We love them. The apps and the website. I mean, listen, you have podcasts that dedicated an entire fucking show on the shittiness of that fucking New Japan world, and I was name dropped.
Shout out to Ichiban Sweetcast.
Yes, I was name dropped many times of canceling my subscription because of the frustration. Yeah, listen, that's where we are. Fix it, and I'll be back. But until that time. XWT. Sorry.
Maybe we could get a sponsorship deal with them. We'll plug them and they can give us upload credit.
There you go. Now we're talking. We should have that already. Not for nothing, but okay. All right.
Yeah. What do we make of that? Is that just paying lip service and stuff? I mean, for me, this is just talk.
No,
you can talk to you blue in the face. I want to actually see some changes.
Correct. Half of them, I would say that. You're correct. But here's the thing, too, though. Every single one of those bullet points, even the food, right? I would love an enhanced menu. I don't think we've actually talked about it on this show, but when it comes to New Japan. But anyway, everything is this is all that we've been saying, right? We've been saying it for how long? And I like the fact that you're getting that from a wrestling company in the sense of at least they're acknowledging what's right in front of them. Like they could just, put their fucking fingers in their ears and la, 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 all the way home. Like, I do appreciate that. Again, the proof is in the pudding, though, right? The proof is actions, not words. That's what we all want to see. So, as I say that, the website is still a hunk of shit. The app is still a hunk of shit. We have forbidden doors that, quite honestly, feel like hunks of shit. And a relationship with AEW where, again, we're the, we're here to make the star so that you can just drop them in and steal them from us. Not steal, but make a financially better offer. Again, let's see. There's a lot of things against them right now when it comes to finances, and as we like to say, the yen is down. But again, that being said, let's see what they can do. Let's see what they do.
I did like the quote that pretty much said the yen is down, so people don't want to see House of Torture. That was a very funny connection for them to make there.
They're already sad and trying to stretching those bills. Now they got to turn on their TV for entertainment to get away from it all and then get House of Torture. So yes, I'm with you, President Hiroshi Tanahashi. Let's make it happen. A lot of promises, a lot of healthcare and education and clean energy. Okay, you're sounding a little bit like a politician. Let's just let's see what you can do.
All right,
that's it.
Bye, everyone. That's it.
Oh, all right. I thought we were gonna close up. All right. Last thoughts.
I'm too tired to do the proper closing.
I'm hungry too. All right. Goodbye, jerks. See you. Bye.
Hey now, it's Mike Gilbert, host of the Mike and JD Show, right here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Join JD by God Oliva and myself every Thursday night live on the Voices of Wrestling YouTube channel at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we stay up all night discussing all the hottest stories in professional wrestling. You can also check us out right here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting feed, or you can subscribe to the Mike and JD Show feed. Now, enjoy the show.
Brace yourself for something fuel nominal. Unleaded 88 is the clear fuel choice. It's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. And it's grown by Iowa corn farmers. Now that's totally worth the hype. So pump it up with Unleaded 88.